And so before I in table data in Confluence, I'd like to start with just a few words about our company. Stiltsoft is Atlassian Platinum Marketplace partner and Silver Solution partner. And we've been working with the Atlassian ecosystem for more than 11 years now. And in these years, we have developed more than 25 apps that you can find on Atlassian Marketplace. Our most popular apps are Table, Filter, and Charts for Confluence and Awesome Graphs for Bitbucket. You'll see Table, Filter, and Charts for Confluence featured in my presentation today. Speaking about maintaining tables in Confluence and Excel, our support team is always in contact with our customers, and this way we try to keep up with our customers and find out what issues they have and what are the most common cases where they need Confluence tables. And many customers create a framework out of separate tables, and it performs as a coherent knowledge base for all of the employees. One of the challenges many customers face is maintaining projects in Excel or Google Sheets, because not everybody instantly switches to Confluence. Even though Excel gives you a lot of freedom in terms of calculations and storing data, it can be hard to collaborate on the same project because you need to share the file with your colleagues, it creates some issues. Google Sheets definitely solve the collaboration part of the issue, but it still can be hard to use them as a knowledge base. So today I will show you how to store and maintain your tabular data in Confluence and how it can replace third-party tools like Excel or Google Sheets. And the example that I'm going to use is going to be the project portfolio data. So let's proceed. Let's start by talking about how to create tables in Confluence. And actually, it's very easy. You are going to need only native Confluence features for that. And it's going to be enough to create a table and also to tailor it exactly to your needs. So as you can see here, we used quite a lot of features. For example, we decided to tag all the responsible employees in this table so that they could navigate through their tasks. We also used statuses. We labeled the progress and also the relevance to internal or external projects. As you can see, we also selected colors for each cells to highlight some data and to make it easier to navigate through the table. We also added dates instead of just typing in the data as a text. And there are other options as well. You can add a numbered list, you can add a checkbox, emoji, or you can tailor the table just however you like. And yeah, as I already said, all of these are just native Confluence features. Now, let's see what you can do to reuse data from already existing tables. So if you keep track of all the projects on a separate page, as we do here, you can use the page properties macro to generate a report on a master page. Unfortunately, this macro only precedes 2-row or 2-column tables, header, and you can see here. So you kind of need to pick the most relevant data, to sum up your project to use this macro. Here, we decided to make a 2-column table which contains data about the employees that are relevant to this project, key objectives and key outcomes, due dates, and statuses. Yeah, after you save the page, you need to add page labels to use the page properties macro, and you need to repeat this process on every page with your projects. Yeah, okay. Now, how to create a report out of that? You're gonna need to use the page properties report macro. Here it's how it looks. So you need to choose the labels that you used on each of your pages. And if your pages are labeled differently, you can choose as many labels as you need. And also you can choose spaces where your tables are located. Again, you can choose multiple spaces if your tables are scattered around Confluence. And you can also choose other settings, like the number of columns you want to include. Here, as you can see, we decided to split our data into two tables. One of them depicts internal projects and the other one depicts external projects. So this is how it looks when it's done. And also, as you can see, all of the project titles are linked to the pages. So if you need more data than just this table, you can always go to the source page and see everything about this project. Okay. Now, if your table cannot be reduced to just 2 rows or 2 columns, you can use the table excerpt and table excerpt include macros. So if you have similarly structured tables in Confluence, you can wrap them up into the table excerpt macro, and you need to specify the names of the name of the excerpt. As you can see here, yeah, and later on you can use this page and this table as a reference on any other page in Confluence, but also you can reuse the same table, we're gonna cover this later. I'm gonna show you a case for that as well. So to reuse this table, you're gonna need to use the table excerpt include macro. So it both gives you the ability to reuse data from all across Confluence, but also to share some insights about the source page. As you can see, you can choose which data to show. We decided to stick with just the page name and the link to the page, but you can choose other options as well. And an important thing to notice is that you don't have to use only regular Confluence table for that. You can also use table excerpt and table excerpt include macros over tables generated by other macros. For example, tables generated by Jira issues, page properties, or well, some other macros as well, if you use any of them. Okay. Now, if you store data in external sources, you can also use it to build tables in Confluence. And there are a few options to do that. So let's see. First of all, if you previously used Excel or Google Sheets and you don't want to lose that data, you can use the table from CSV or table from JSON macro. Both of these macros allow you to either use an attachment. As you can see here, you just need to attach your file with a table into Confluence and then pick all the settings. Yeah, and it's going to turn into a Confluence table. Another way is to use a URL. For example, if you use Google Sheets, in this case, most of the settings are the same. You just choose the source, the URL, you paste the URL actually, and sometimes it's needed to set login and password for the website where the source table is located. Yeah, but generally, it only takes a couple of clicks to upload your already existing table to Confluence. Yeah, as you can see, it looks just as a regular Confluence table. And another option is Jira macro. It's very convenient if you regularly track your tasks in Jira. And again, you don't want to lose this data when keeping an eye on your projects. So the Jira macro, it's a native Confluence macro. It allows you to derive issues from Jira and depict it as a table in Confluence. Yeah, you can have a look at the settings here. You can choose the number of issues you want to show. You want to pick the columns that you want to display. And to derive issues from Jira, you need to write a JQL query or paste a link to the selected issues or a selected project from Jira. Yeah, here you can see all of the options that are available in the settings. This is how a table will look like. And another thing is that with issues from Jira, you can build different charts. And this is the example. And you can easily switch from Jira issues to Jira charts right in Confluence. Okay. Now, to actually analyzing tables and building dashboards and using tables from Confluence to process data. Here's what we can do. So as I already said, you can use the table excerpt include macro on the same page. For example, here we wanted to not only filter the source table, but also build some charts with it and aggregate data. So we divided the page into sections and wrapped the table excerpt include macro into the macros that process the tables. All right. Now, to aggregate tabular data, we are gonna use the pivot table macro. Here's how it works. With its help, you can group data depending on the parameters of your choice. You just need to insert the macro, then place the table inside of it. And it allows you to have a brief and clear overview of a bigger table, and it also allows you to perform some simple calculations. You can, for example, count the exact number of some items, or you can sum something up or count the averages. Yeah, and there are definitely some other settings. Depending on the contents of your table, you can tailor the pivot table to your needs. And here we decided that we don't want to show the source table. We don't need the control panel. And this is how the final table will look. And as you can see, you can always preview the result while editing the pivot table. Another great thing is that you don't have to go to the edit mode every time you need to edit the pivot table. It can be done in the view mode as well. Apart from data aggregation, you can turn your tables into charts. For that, you will use the chart from table macro. It offers you a variety of charts. So you can visualize your data in many various ways. And these charts are totally customizable. You can change the chart type, the orientation of the chart, colors, the content. So yeah, there is a lot you can do. And as you can see here in our source table, we didn't have any calculated data, but even if you only have text data or statuses inside of your table, you can still build a chart from this table. You just need to select the same column for labels and values in the settings. Sometimes there are cases where you need to combine data aggregation and creating a table. For that, you will use the table toolbox macro. It allows you to use multiple macros on one source table. Well, in this case, we decided to build a pivot table first and then turn it into a chart. But again, you can come up with other combinations. You can filter the source table first, or you can use the table transformer macro. I'm going to tell you a little bit about it later. Well, to tailor the table however you like. Now, you can also apply filters to your table, and you can do it live after you wrap your table into the table filter macro. So the table filter macro automatically picks relevant types of filters for each column. As you can see here, the date column suggests you to pick the date range, and if there are repeated values, you can pick the values that you need from the list. Yeah, and also it allows you to do some other things. For example, if you need to hide certain columns, you can definitely do that. If your table is wrapped up in the table filter macro and you finished filtering it, you can upload the table as a CSV, PDF, or Word file to share it outside the Confluence. So yeah, it's really convenient as well. As for the pivot table and chart from table macros here, if they are combined, they are also very interactive. For example, you can click on a certain section and the pivot table will adjust accordingly. So you can have a more clear and detailed perspective on the data that you have. Now, if you want to get even more out of table data, you can use the table transformer macro. Well, native Confluence features don't allow you to achieve conditional formatting or custom analysis, but with the table transformer macro, you can write SQL queries to achieve the desired result. For example, in this table, we wanted to count the days remaining until the end of the project and highlight the cells if we fall behind. So yeah, we achieved this result with an SQL query. Now we can track our projects even more efficiently. Yeah, and we also colored the cells on the left to again highlight the finished projects and the projects that are in progress. Yeah, but you can achieve a lot various things with the help of the table transformer macro. You can also perform custom calculations and yeah, well, actually tailor the table however you like. Well, and if you are still missing some spreadsheet capabilities in Confluence, there is a way to use a spreadsheet here too. So for that, you are gonna need the table spreadsheet macro. Both its features and interface are designed to resemble Excel as much as possible. So after you created the table, you can aggregate data, turn it into a chart, use predefined formulas for easy calculations. You can use conditional formatting, well, basically everything that you might miss from Excel or Google Sheets. Moreover, when you are done, you can keep editing the spreadsheet in the view mode. In the minimized frame, so to see the whole page and little spreadsheet, or you can enter a full screen mode and still keep editing and share it with your colleagues, which makes it even easier to collaborate. Another great thing is that if you previously used Google Sheets or Excel and you want to keep editing them in Confluence, but still use the spreadsheet features, you can upload the file in the table spreadsheet settings. Yeah, so basically, this is everything I wanted to tell you about. And I hope that you are now inspired to experiment a little bit with your tables in Confluence. Here you can see the list of all the features that were mentioned in this presentation. If you want to know anything else, I can now answer your questions. I'm really happy to share this, our knowledge with you.
Thank you. Thank you one more time, Maria. Thank you for the presentation. I will reinforce the audience that they can ask questions. Just a second, please.
Okay.
Bom, pessoal, só para reforçar, se alguém tiver alguma dúvida, quiser compartilhar um ponto, eu já posso encaminhar para a Maria.
Okay, so Marcus
Yes.
asks if it is possible to use formulas to perform other calculations on tables.
Yes.
It depends whether you want to use standard Confluence tables or the table spreadsheet. If you use standard Confluence tables, usually to apply formulas, you need third-party macros. For example, our table transformer macro. Otherwise, the native Confluence features do not allow you to use formulas. And if you use the table spreadsheet macro, then it offers you a variety of predefined formulas, just like in Excel.